My mother-in-law was furious that we wouldn't spend Christmas with her. Until she found out my grandma is dying. We never spend Christmas with my side of the family because of faith, but my grandmother, who has been sick for a long time, probably won't make it to the new year. My grandmother helped raise me and was this incredible confident woman, even though she hasn't been herself for the last few years. This Christmas might be the last time I ever see her, and my husband and I are going back to my hometown this year to say goodbye. I knew this was going to be a problem, but I was already starting to grieve, so I just begged my husband, honey, can you tell your mom we're not coming for Christmas? I can't deal with it. Classic man behavior. He said, don't worry baby, I'll tell her later, she'll understand. Tell me why this man didn't tell his mother about it until the week before Christmas. And he thought that I should be the one to tell her why, since it's pretty serious news. He totally threw me under the bus, and now I have to face Holidayzilla. Faith called me right away telling me that we had to have a serious talk, but when I showed up and saw all these cars in the driveway, I knew she had brought a bunch of people to make it even harder for us to say that we couldn't come for Christmas. I wanted to just turn around and leave, but before I could say anything, my husband just heads for the door like nothing is wrong. Faith is in there just pacing around like she's ready to rap battle me or something, and she's even wearing a t-shirt that says Holidayzilla on it. As soon as she saw me, she went right into it saying, tell me why you want to throw away the most best day of the year and abandon your family. I wanted to start crying. Everyone was staring at me and I felt like a little kid put on the spot. I could barely get anything out with a lump in my throat, so I just said, it's just for 1 year, Faith. She said, it doesn't matter, you're being so selfish by taking my son away from us. Fine, if you want to miss out on family time, do it, but you're not taking my son with you. And I ask you a question, what's so important?
My fiancée was crying nonstop because her ex died and said that she'll never love anyone as much, so I told her to get over him or I'll be out. My fiancée and I have been together for 3 years. She was with her previous boyfriend for around 3 years and they have 2 young kids together. He died from an odd 2 weeks ago. He had been struggling with addiction off and on since before they were together. I've known him since childhood, but weren't close. I can say he was a very friendly, outgoing, charismatic guy when he was clean. He was the type of guy where if he were around, you'd stand no chance with the girls because they were all interested in him. Eventually, she broke up with him due to his addiction issues but ensured that he still had a relationship with his kids. Recently, that's been supervised visits at his parents' house after he lost his job, lost his license, and failed court-mandated drug testing. I believe he made some genuine attempts to get clean. He was trying. I wanted him to succeed because I've always thought he was a good guy, and his kids deserve that version of him. I became the stable day-to-day father figure, which I willingly took on, but I respected that he was their dad and they loved him. Since he died, she's been a mess. Yesterday, she stayed in bed all day before sitting outside at night crying for at least an hour. Today is Father's Day, and she practically woke up crying. I know she's not just sad that he's gone, but she's sad for her kids. I know it was devastating for her to have to tell her 2 very young children that their dad was dead. She's been moping around for 2 weeks, crying nonstop, calling off work. I told her she really needed to snap out of it. She told me, I love him so much. He was the love of my life. I'll never love anyone that much. I guess that was the last straw for me, and I told her to get over him or I'll be out. I'm not going to be second in her heart after a dead guy she hasn't even been in a relationship with for years. She told me I was not being empathetic and I had no tact. I'm an a-hole and he was never that mean to her, regardless of what was going on. Yeah, it's easy not to be an a-hole when you're strung out on heroin or stay drunk 24/7 and is the happy type of drunk. Ada for telling her to get over him and that I won't stick around if she is still in love with him as the love of her life and says she won't ever love anyone else like that again. My fiancée was crying nonstop because her ex died and said that she'll never love anyone as much, so I told her to get over him or I'll be out. My fiancée and I have been together for 3 years. She was with her previous boyfriend for around 3 years and they have 2 young kids together. He died from an odd 2 weeks ago. He had been struggling with addiction off and on since before they were together. I've known him since childhood, but weren't close. I can say he was a very friendly, outgoing, charismatic guy when he was clean. He was the type of guy where if he were around, you'd stand no chance with the girls because they were all interested in him. Eventually, she broke up with him due to his addiction.